We're here today with the one and only John Schlitt, former singer for the band Head East and currently singer for the band Petra. John, how's it going today?
I'm doing good, Justin. Hey, thanks for calling, buddy.
Oh, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Listen, I just, it's nice to be able to share what's on your mind when somebody's interested.
Well, John, you've been there and back over the years. Can you tell the listeners a bit about, what got you into music, how you discovered that you had this voice that you have?
Well, it's a long story, buddy. Okay, let's start when I was actually in kindergarten. I realized I was the only boy that got real good grades in music, so that must have meant something. And then as time went on, when I was in seventh grade, a good friend of mine started playing guitar, learning guitar, and I said, I like that idea. So I started with him, and we sort of went together at the same teacher. Then we went to that teacher's teacher and decided we should start a band. So in my little bitty town, we created a band that actually wasn't too bad. I was the singer because nobody else would do it. It developed pretty well. When I graduated from high school, I thought my music career was over. So I brought my acoustic guitar with me, as I think half the freshmen in the world do, and just sort of tinkered around with it, and then found that, when you have acoustic guitar, there's a lot of people also. So we started finding friends that played together, and ended up in a fraternity band. And that's where I discovered I was a terrible guitar player, but not a bad lead singer. And they were looking for an acoustic guitar, a rhythm guitar player that could sing. Tried me out and said, well, you're a great singer. Your guitar playing's not that good. So we're going to take our singer now, make him the guitar player, and you're going to be the singer. And that's when I basically gave up instruments. I said, you know what? I can play them, but I'm not good enough to play in the category of people I want to be part of. And so, lead singing became my part in music, and it developed from there. I joined a band called Head East for 7 years in the 70s. Got fired because I was a messed up drug addict by that time. Just became a Christian. Praise God. And then out of the blue, after 5 years of not being in the music, got a call from Bob Hartman. By that time, I'm a major fan of Petra's. And I thought it was somebody joking around with me, because I often said in those 5 years, people would keep asking, why aren't you singing? Why aren't you singing? I said, the only way I'd ever sing is in a Christian band like Petra. Meaning, the only way I'd fly to the moon is if I flap my arms and got there by myself. I just no possible way. So out of the blue, Bob calls me, asks me if I'd consider singing for Petra. And 6 months later, I was singing for the first time in 5 years in front of about 5,000 people in Brisbane, Australia. And those years went by really fast. I'll tell you what, I still almost remember it like it was yesterday. And then when we officially retired in 2005, 2006, I was sort of drifting a little bit. Finally, wanted to recreate my solo career, and went on doing that for a while, and actually joined a lot of other bands and stuff, and I kept my chops going and putting out records in my solo with my solo album, or my solo record company. And then all of a sudden, 50th anniversary comes around, and Petra starts touring again. And my gosh, it's been quite a trip in the last 3 years, going on four now. So I just, in one question, I answered pretty much everything that's been going on in my life for the last 50 years, it sounds like.
Well, it's been an incredible journey for sure. And you mentioned right away there joining Head East, and I know that first album, Flat as a Pancake, I think everyone I knew had that album when I was a kid. I mean, you were off and running right out of the gate there. It
was, well, I'll tell you what, that was a musician's dream. I'll tell you, we went in the studio ourselves, had $13,000 to record it, went into a little studio in the middle of a cornfield in South Pekin, Illinois, little 16-track studio. Did all the songs ourselves, produced it ourselves. We just thought that record was going to be a demo record. That's as high of a vision we had, and it turned out to be A&M Records. After they were not the only label. Once they finally heard the record, that was interested in us, but we thought A&M was the classiest company we could get to. And they listened to the record, and the only thing they did was they changed side 1 to side 2 and side 2 to side 1. Put it out, says, this is such a unique sound, we don't want to touch it.
Wow.
And, never really. So that was quite a trip for us. I mean, really, was it success right out of the gate? No. I mean, we spent years and years working on those songs in the bars. So those songs were ready to be recorded because we had tested them out so many times that rewrote them, redid this. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that a lot of those songs are very popular even now. That record is unique, and it opened up so many doors for us that, it was truly a musician's dream for a while. But you'd be surprised after your dream goes on every day, day after day after day, it actually becomes boring. And that's when I fell into the stupidity I did with that band.
Well, I'm sure you probably didn't think this at the time, but that was obviously a blessing in disguise for you. And I know you shared the stage with Head East again later on here when you went into the Hall of Fame in Iowa. And I hope you're able to look back on that time, with fondness and pride for what you guys did. You made a lot of great music. Oh,
I did. I tell you what, I have never, short of the joy of being able to watch our crowds have a great time. It was never the stage that I had problems with. It was just always after the show was over, that kind of stuff. No, I truly appreciated the audience we had, the fans that they still have. And then the fact that after many, many years, I was able to go back with the band and actually play with, on our 50th anniversary of Head East, I got to play with Roger, Steve, and Mike. Dan, by that time, had already passed away. But it was really cool to be able to play with all three of those guys. And I'm so glad I did, because later on, Mike and Steve both passed. So now it's just Roger and I. And by that time, we had become good friends again. And it's really nice to be able to, like you said, look back at it with real fond memories. I do. I try to forget all the dumb moves I made backstage and just remember the stage and how much the people enjoyed it and how much we loved doing it. And oh my gosh, I have no regrets with Head East now. I wish I'd made different choices backstage, but it ended up being an amazing blessing for me, later on in my life.
Well, and as you mentioned, eventually you found your way into Petra, and I mean, that's been almost 40 years since you joined. I'm guessing you didn't think that this new chapter that you were getting into would kind of become a big chunk of your life here now.
No, not at all. I'll tell you what, when Bob called me, I was like 35. And at that moment I said, man, and I hadn't sang for 5 years. And in my mind, oh my gosh, I'm too old to be a rocker. I mean, you can't get into rock and roll after you're 30, that mindset. And I'll tell you what, I didn't realize that, oh man, I had many, many years to come with a special rock and roll that was just totally, just mind-boggling. It just, you just don't understand the difference between being a Christian artist and a mainstream artist. It's just very different. If you go in with the attitude of what you're there for as a Christian artist, it's a beautiful way to live.
So then it seems like maybe it wasn't hard for you to make that transition from Head East to Petra as far as, the stage part goes. Was it just business as usual making that change?
Actually, I tell you, I look back at it now and I see how God prepared me for Petra. And that was 7 years of learning how to be in front of thousands of people every night with Head East. then when I became a Christian, I had 5 years of becoming a stable Christian, basically being not a baby Christian, getting in the Word, finding out what it really means, being a stable Christian, someone that walks the walk and doesn't just fly it around in ignorance. And that's the kind of singer they needed, because they were, when I joined them, they were the biggest Christian rock band in the world. And the lead singer that they had before was amazing. And I needed to go in there and not let them skip a beat. And because of my experience in the past and my walk with the Lord as it was, I think that I look back at God's timing and God's plan. It was beautiful. So, yeah, it was Petra was really, to me, as far as style, as far as the makeup of the band was exactly like Head East. Guitar, bass, keyboards, drums, and singer with other singers. And that was my cup of tea. I loved it.
And I know after you joined Petra, really kind of the sound changed a bit, and you really gave the band a shot in the arm, I think, as far as, the major success you would go on to have. That had to feel pretty good for you, knowing you could be sober and still having this kind of success in the music biz.
Oh, absolutely. I honestly, I wasn't sure if I could go on stage sober. It just because it'd been so long, and it was neat. I will say in the beginning, that first show in Sydney, I got so excited Sydney. I got so excited that I blew my throat out. I oversang. About after 3 songs, I could hardly talk, let alone sing. And it was pretty much quite a test in Australia. I think we had like 6 shows for that beginning tour, and I had to struggle through the whole thing. I figured that I'd be fired when I got back home. But they were a great bunch of guys, that could not understand why I could do all these songs so easily in rehearsal. I get on stage and all of a sudden I can't even talk. And I said, man, I'm just excited. And so they had the patience. And as time went on, got back into my groove. And it was an amazing story.
Yeah, it is interesting that, sometimes Christian music, maybe people who are fans of more traditional rock would maybe kind of look down their nose at it. But I mean, really, as far as the music goes, it wasn't all that much different from your Head East days. Just the lyrics, I guess, were a little different. But definitely, good music is good music.
Well, it's funny. I thought when I joined the band that we would get a lot of criticism from the mainstream world, and that the church would welcome us with open arms as partners. And it totally turned out totally different. I mean, one of the best things for me was the guys in the band kept me grounded, saying, hey, this is what we go through. Because the mainstreams that have great band don't like what they have to say, or I'm not comfortable with it, but the music's good. They're a great band. But the church, half the church would say, how dare they play rock and roll with, and sing about Jesus? It's just, I couldn't understand it. So the band helped me out with that as time went on, and I finally grew in understanding that's how it was going to be, and just let it sort of bounce off the back and do what we were supposed to do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Head East and Petra, music-wise, I think we're about I won't say which band I think better. That's not fair to either band. But I was with quality musicians pretty much my whole life.
And I know Petra had been on hiatus here and there over the years, but, as you mentioned, you've come together here to play some shows. I see you've got some scheduled even for this year, so you guys are still at it. Yeah,
we get these calls and just we're saying, hey, guys, our anniversary was 4 years ago. I said, well, yeah, we want you to, we missed that, so we just want to get it. So, we're very, very happy that there's still interest. And I'll tell you what, the band's kicking. So I don't, it's not like anyone will be disappointed to see us, but, we're trying our best to, we have so many songs that we're trying to find a great combination that sort of represents the 50 years of Petra. But if there's someone that saw us last year, let's choose some different songs so we can do that, even to a point of maybe new music, But that's another story in itself. We'll have to see about that. But just make sure that if somebody comes to a Petra concert, probably it'll be their last time. We want to make sure that they that the last time was very, very memorable, and that they don't regret 1 minute of it. Actually, what I'd like to see is our older fans come in and bring their families, bring their kids, bring their grandkids, say, this is what I was into,
Excellent. Yeah. John, you alluded to it a little bit there, but is there maybe new music for you in the future, whether it's with Petra or maybe some more solo stuff, anything like that?
It's funny you ask that. Actually, my newest solo record is called Go, and it came out the day before COVID hit. And it's been sitting in the garage ever since, trying to say, hey, when's my turn? Because the Petra tour came along, and it had to be side shifted. So as far as any solo stuff, I really have no desire at this moment to do another one until I get a chance to showcase the last one I've done now as far as Petra. That's a different ball game, and that's one of those things I probably said too much about already. So let's just say that there's probably going to be some new stuff coming out, but that's all I can say.
Awesome. Well, yeah, hopefully something comes of that. And is there anything else maybe coming up, John? Or I know you're obviously busy with your ministry work, or is there anything else maybe we should discuss here?
Well, my ministry is always it always keeps me very busy, and I praise God for it. God's opened doors for me to be able to help people that I couldn't have in the past. That is really a fulfillment that I have always looked forward to being part of, and that's to help people when they don't expect it, that kind of thing. My wife just wrote a book, which we are featuring quickly. Proud of her. Just, in our life, in our family's life, we try to stay very busy, and God has opened the doors for us. And so we walk through them and see what it can do to go to the next level.
Excellent. John, again, it's been an honor speaking with you. I've been hearing your voice since I was a little kid, and I'm excited for everything that's happened to you and everything that's going to happen here in the future. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, again, thank you for your interest. And if there's something I can do for you in the future, let me know. You know how to get a hold of me now.
All right, will do. Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate it.
Sure, buddy. Talk to you later.
Again, that was John Schlitt, formerly of Head East and currently of Petra. Look for Petra coming to a town near you. Find out more at johnschlitt.com.